Grüezi YouTubers! Well, I have to report that the weather in the last couple of days has dropped precipitously here in Switzerland, and so that's got me thinking a bit about one of our national dishes. Fondue, of course. Maybe the thing that Switzerland is very well known for. So, no self-respecting Swiss family would be without a fondue setup, so of course we had to go out and get our own a couple weeks ago. I'm going to tell you a little bit today about the different kinds of fondue, and then I'll show you our setup. So the one that's probably most well known is cheese fondue or Käse fondue, and this is basically where in your fondue pot you melt cheese and sometimes wine or milk to thin out the cheese along with spices of different kinds, and there are probably about 10 or 15 different varieties of cheese fondue that are made using different types of cheese here. Now, the cheese fondue is in sort of one of two big categories of fondue, and I'll name this category the melty dipping sauce category. So basically you just dip bread and vegetables in the delicious melty cheese. And there's another fondue that falls into the same category, and that is chocolate fondue or chocolate fondue. Same thing, you warm the chocolate, maybe with some liqueur, different types of chocolate, and then you dip sweet things, typically like pieces of fruit or marshmallows, into the chocolate. So then there's another category of fondue, which I'll call sort of hot pot cooking. And there are three different types of fondue in this category. So first is fondue bourguignonne. This is basically an oil-based fondue, and so you put oil and maybe some spices into the pot. Of course, in this style, the pot has to get much hotter so that you can actually cook your raw meat and vegetables to an acceptable temperature. The other one is called Bacchus. This is wine fondue, and it's done pretty much the same way as bourguignon, and you're using the wine to actually cook the meat and vegetables. And then finally, there's one called Fondue Chinois, and this is basically Chinese fondue is the literal translation. And this is very much a hot pot type of fondue where you're doing a broth and then you have seasonings and then you're cooking your meat and vegetables again. And Fondue Chinois is actually the traditional Christmas Eve dish here in Switzerland, so we'll be trying that out on Christmas Eve with our family. But I do find it pretty interesting that the Swiss have now adopted essentially a Chinese dish, hot pot, as sort of their traditional Christmas Eve meal. So that's a little bit of an overview of the different types of fondue, and now I'm going to show you our cooking setup. So our house came with this really awesome old style fireplace cooking setup, and we could probably make fondue with this, but there is a more modern and easy way for us to get started. So let's look at that. So this is our nice modern fondue setup, and this will do all the different types of fondue, both the hot pot style and the melty dipping sauce style. So you can see here we have a heating element for keeping the fondue warm or hot, as the case may be. And then we have a really nice high quality pot that can be put on the stove so the fondue can be heated to any temperature that's required. And then on top here we have the forks you see for actually picking up the fondue without burning your hand, and this nice splatter guard so when you're actually cooking meat and vegetables in the hot oil or broth, you don't burn yourself. So that is our super cool modern fondue setup. Can't wait to get started with it. And that's our introduction to fondue here in Switzerland. I hope you have a great week. Auf Wiedersehen.